It's been a while since I did anything productive like this on this channel, and there's a reason for that. It's the off-season, and since the Aaron Opoku rumor, there hasn't really been much to talk about in regards to St. Louis City. And with Kaiserslautern apparently playing hardball with Opoku, who knows if that even happens now.
What about Hosei Kijima?
I'm going through my process on that, okay? Wait a second, this isn't a DC United video. I should put this back. Okay, now I'm wearing my signed Hosei Kijima Sarasota Paradise shirt. I'm still not over it. The MLS expansion draft happened in December, and DC United came in
like a sneak thief
and stole Hosei Kijima away from St. Louis, using San Diego FC's hand in this unwanted reach around for $400,000 in GAM to San Diego. St. Louis just gets $50,000 in GAM and the feeling of being anally shafted. What a great and fair system. I'm still not over it. Why did St. Louis even have to expose players for this draft at all? Charlotte didn't have to when we drafted. I'm still not over it. But this video isn't just me ranting about the Kijima situation, I promise. He does have some relevance to this video as he's an example of a successful MLS Superdraft pick, and right after DC United came in,
like a sneak thief.
I'm still not over it. St. Louis had 3 selections to make, and they used them all on players to fill obvious gaps in the depth chart. Brendan McSorley had an absolute heater of a second half for City 2 last season, being an almost sure bet to score in every game he played in the second half of the season. The former third-round Superdraft pick showed he could win headers and find himself in the right areas for scoring opportunities. All things that suggest he might be ready for more big roster minutes, as there's no obvious third striker behind Simon Betcher and Joao Klaus. Knut Thoresen did an okay job this past season filling in there in a makeshift role, but he's not really a striker, and Cedric Toyshirt is being more deployed as a number 10 or a second striker in St. Louis City's system. Speaking of players that have shifted to the 10, Caden Glover was touted as a striker of the future, but has played more in the 10 role this past season. He even told me himself at the City Pavilion event that he enjoys playing the 10 more as he gets to be more creative with the ball at his feet, and he looked rather comfortable there as the season went on. So there was an opening in the depth chart for striker for St. Louis, whether or not Brendan McSorley makes the leap to the big roster. And they filled it with a very intriguing prospect in Emil Jääskeläinen, who apparently is a king according to this graphic from the University of Akron, where he played. But as you can see, Emil posted big numbers at Akron. He scored 23 goals this past season, which is 4 more than the next highest goal scorer in the entire Division 1. He also ran away with the total points title with 54. The next closest had 43. 2 points are given for a goal and 1 for an assist, by the way, in the NCAA. And this meant that his average of just over 1 goal per game gave him the points per game title as well. Emil transferred to Akron after playing 4 seasons at Long Island University. Emil was on the same field as Simon Betcher and Johnny Klein in November 2021 when Long Island visited SLU for the second round of the NCAA men's soccer tournament. It was a game to remember as almost 7,000 fans attended the game, and yours truly was the public address announcer for that one. But more importantly, it was a game to forget for Emil, whose team not only lost 5-1, but Emil was sent off in the second half after picking up a second yellow. In watching the game tape of Emil in action, you can see him using his 6'3", 190-pound frame to his advantage, as he's able to create space to win headers or have the sense to get in a good position to receive crosses and put them in. But he's not just a Sherman tank out there. Watch this run he's able to make from about midfield to beat his defender and have enough composure for the simple finish. Here he is in a one-on-one situation. It's encouraging that he has multiple ways to get those 23 goals he scored. As you can see these goals here, he's simply difficult to defend, whether it's using his size or his good sense of timing to get clean looks at the net. And he was so good, he was one of the 3 finalists for the prestigious Herman Trophy awarded at the Missouri Athletic Club every year to the best collegiate soccer player in America. It's soccer's equivalent of the Heisman. However, Emil fell just short of winning it.
From the Ohio State University, Michael Davis.
So how does a prolific goal scorer like Emil fall to St. Louis at 7th overall? Well, one thing working against him is his age. He'll be 24 in March, which makes him a bit older than the other players drafted before him. One example is the player that finished runner-up in goals to Emil, Alex Harris, who went 4th overall and was just a sophomore this past season in the NCAA. He was so coveted, Colorado Rapids paid $162,000 in Garber bucks to jump 4 spots to take him. So a team taking Emil would be taking him knowing that more or less he's going to be the player that he is going to be, and they would count on him to produce sooner rather than later. But Emil is a very good player who should pay dividends for St. Louis sooner rather than later. In fact, he's actually a year older than McSorley, who again will be competing for big roster minutes this coming season. So how soon Emil starts bagging MLS goals is really up to him. And if you're in England and thinking that this last name sounds familiar, Emil's father is Hosei Kijima, a Bolton Wanderers legend who is regarded as one of the best Bolton players of all time. Hosei was Bolton's starting goalkeeper from 1997 to 2012, and he played 521 total matches for Bolton, all seasons when Bolton was in the Premier League. Among his plaudits was earning praise for his consistency, which he appears to have handed down to his son. Unfortunately, I made it to Bolton 12 years after Hosei left, but still had a fun time in my first ever English footy match in person at Bolton Wanderers Stadium. You can watch that video in the link in the top right corner. And Emil was born in England, which makes him English and Finnish. And this means St. Louis City completes the Nordic Challenge and is getting closer to completing the North Sea Challenge. They just need players from France as well as the lowlands of Holland and Belgium. But that wasn't the only super draft pick made by St. Louis on this particular day. They had 2 more picks to make, and they used them to fill obvious needs on the depth chart. And one of those was a defender that should contribute sooner than later as well. Joey Zalinsky just celebrated his 22nd birthday at the time of this recording and was a 4-year starting right back for Rutgers. And as you can see by the armband on his left arm, he was the club's captain, indicating he has the leadership and personality the club has been looking for almost specifically over the last year. Zalinsky comes to St. Louis with a reputation at Rutgers for being a shutdown defender, and these charts from AmericanSoccerAnalysis.com seem to reflect that. Based on 13 matches this season, Joey rates highly for his 1v1 and off-ball reactions. But he also gets high marks for what he does on the offensive side. In his senior year, he was good at winning offensive duels and making progressive runs and passes. He could even score now and then, as you'll see here, as a result of good positioning. Now, Tyson Pierce was City 2 starting right back this past season and was good enough to be considered a next pro all-star. However, there's a feeling in the club that Pierce's future is at center mid long term. Drafting Zalinsky would seem to open up a pathway for Pierce to make that shift. Pierce turns 18 in August, meaning that yes, he was named a next pro all-star as a 16-year-old. But Zalinsky's path to MLS might hinge in part on this man, Jake Nerwinski, who remains unsigned at the time of this recording, and it seems as though he's taking his time to assess his options. If Nerwinski isn't back in 2025, that's one less hurdle for Zalinsky to clear. But again, like Emil, Zalinsky will also need to put in the work as well. And St. Louis did have one final pick to make in this draft in the 3rd round, and again, use it to fill an obvious spot on the depth chart. 17-year-old Nick Bishop had served as Christian Oliveira's deputy in 2024. However, the youngster is going to continue his career at the NCAA level, enrolling in the University of Pittsburgh this coming season. Enter Colin Welsh, drafted in the 3rd round of the Superdraft out of Western Michigan. Welsh started all 20 games for the Broncos in his senior year and made 78 saves across all competitions, including 4 shutouts. He was named the Missouri Valley Conference's Goalkeeper of the Year. He transferred to Western Michigan after 3 seasons at the University of Memphis. It was at Memphis where he showed a flair for the spectacular, stopping a PK here as well as the ensuing rebound. If there's one knock on Welsh, though, is that he is a product of the Sporting KC Academy system. Don't worry, we can fix him. So definitely a super draft where St. Louis focused on current needs rather than potential dividends down the road. It's a strategy that has worked in the past with the likes of Klein, McSorley, Kijima.
Like a sneak thief.
I'm still not over it. Professionalism. All paying immediate dividends. Of course, we don't talk about Owen O'Malley. But what did you think about the Superdraft picks? Are you excited about Emil, or do you think that St. Louis needed to address other needs? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to like and subscribe for more St. Louis City SC content. I'll have a video coming out soon with my 2025 plans, and don't worry, St. Louis City fans, I'm still going to cover the club in my usual way. And I want to shout out 3 new members to the 99-cent supporters section. Michael Miller, No Goal Patrol, and Luca, all the way from Rotterdam, have signed up. Thank each and every one of you, and to my ongoing subscribers as well. You all help me go on soccer adventures for this channel, and boy, do I have a few planned for 2025. I'm just waiting to button up a couple details first. This is your soccer zombie, Tom Franklin, and here's a whole playlist of my journeys in 2024. Every single one of them is right here. Take your pick. USL, it's there. MLS, I got you. NCAA, yep. How about Premier League, League One, League Two, League of Ireland? Yeah, they're all there. Right up here. I promise.